They told you cheese was bad, that it was fattening, dangerous, and nothing more than a heart attack on a plate. For decades, cheese was branded the enemy, lumped in with greasy fast food and sugary snacks as something to be avoided, especially as we age. But what if we told you that cheese, the very food you were told to eliminate from your diet, might actually be one of the most powerful tools to combat age-related muscle loss? Here's the shocking truth. Nearly 99% of seniors don't know that three specific cheeses contain potent compounds that rebuild muscle tissue faster than many commercial supplements on the market. Not just because of protein, but because of unique bioactive components that interact directly with aging muscle cells. One of these cheeses, in fact, was shown in a 2023 study to boost leg strength by 28% in just 90 days, with no gym membership, no protein shakes, and no prescription drugs. So why haven't you heard about it? Because big supplement companies don't want you to know. If cheese, something that's already in your fridge, could outperform their powders and pills, they'd lose millions. So instead, the narrative is shaped to make you fear fat, cholesterol, and sodium, while ignoring the extraordinary healing properties hidden in natural foods like aged dairy. Let's pause here. Before we tell you exactly which cheeses made the cut, ask yourself, have you noticed your strength declining even though you think you're eating enough protein? Do simple tasks, climbing stairs, opening jars, lifting groceries, feel harder than they used to? If you said yes to either, you're not alone. These are classic signs of sarcopenia, the medical term for age-related muscle loss. It affects over 45% of adults over 60, and if left unaddressed, it can lead to falls, fractures, hospitalizations, and loss of independence. The good news? With the right nutritional strategies, you can reverse muscle loss, even in your 70s and 80s. And it starts with cheese. In this video, we're going to reveal the top 3 cheeses that rebuild muscle naturally, ranked by scientific impact and long-term importance. And the number 1 cheese, it could reverse muscle loss by up to 35%, even if you haven't lifted a weight in years. Stick with us because by the end of this, you'll know what to eat, when to eat it, and how to use it for maximum strength, mobility, and confidence. Let's begin with the third-ranked cheese on our list. It might seem like just a garnish, but for older adults struggling with weakness or frailty, it could be the missing link to rebuilding lost strength. Let's talk about a cheese you've probably seen 100 times without realizing its hidden strength-building power. Parmesan, that dry, nutty, salty cheese we often sprinkle over pasta or pizza. It turns out Parmesan may be one of the most effective muscle-preserving foods available, especially for adults over 60. Parmesan is unique because of its extremely high concentration of leucine, an amino acid known as the muscle trigger. Leucine plays a critical role in muscle protein synthesis, which is your body's ability to build and maintain muscle tissue. And here's the key. As we age, our bodies become less sensitive to standard protein. That's why many older adults eat enough protein, but still lose muscle. The solution? You need more of the right kind of amino acids, especially leucine, to turn that protein into strength. And that's where Parmesan shines. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 tested older adults consuming 5 grams of leucine daily from aged dairy sources like Parmesan. The results were astonishing. They experienced a 38% increase in muscle protein synthesis compared to a control group. That's a measurable improvement in how efficiently their bodies use dietary protein to build lean mass. But the benefits don't stop there. Parmesan is also naturally low in lactose, thanks to its aging process. This makes it ideal for older adults who struggle with lactose intolerance. Most hard cheeses still contain trace sugars, but Parmesan, especially the authentic kind aged 12 to 36 months, contains virtually none, meaning it won't cause bloating or discomfort in sensitive stomachs. Here's where it gets practical. You don't need to eat a brick of cheese every day. Just 30 to 40 grams, about 1 to 1.5 ounces of Parmesan is enough to make a difference. The timing, however, is crucial. Here's what we recommend. Split that daily dose in half. Eat the first portion within 30 minutes of your morning walk or exercise, even if it's just light stretching or chores. This window is when your muscles are most receptive to growth. The second half should be consumed during your evening meal, supporting overnight recovery and repair. Not sure how to use it? Try this. Add 2 tablespoons of freshly grated Parmesan to scrambled eggs. Stir into warm lentils or sprinkle over roasted vegetables. Use it as a topping for soup or inside an omelet. But be warned, not all Parmesan is created equal. Skip the pre-shredded supermarket bags. They often contain fillers like cellulose, aka wood pulp, which can interfere with digestion and nutrient absorption. Instead, look for Parmigiano Reggiano, the original Italian variety. It will be labeled as such and often has visible aging crystals, those tiny white crunchy dots that indicate a high protein content. One note of caution, Parmesan is salty. If you're managing blood pressure, aim for under 50 grams daily and avoid pairing it with other salty foods like bacon or processed meats. Now let's meet Margaret, a 67-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. She came to us after falling twice in 3 months. Her DEXA scans showed a 15% decline in muscle mass over 5 years. With the Parmesan protocol and light daily walks, she rebuilt 7% of that lost muscle in just 12 weeks. Her waist shrank, her confidence soared, and she now teaches senior yoga weekly. All that from a sprinkle of the right cheese. If Parmesan is the muscle switch you flip on during the day, cottage cheese is the slow-burning fuel that keeps your muscles fed and protected while you sleep. It's creamy, mild, and often overlooked. But if you're over 60 and serious about staying strong, this humble tub of white curds may be your best friend, especially after sunset. Let's start with what makes cottage cheese so powerful: casein protein. Unlike whey or meat-based proteins, casein digests very slowly. That means it releases amino acids into your bloodstream gradually over 6 to 8 hours. Why is that important? Because muscle breakdown happens most aggressively at night while you're sleeping. When you sleep, your body enters a fasted state. If there's not enough protein in your system, your body pulls amino acids from your muscles to keep your vital organs functioning. For younger people, this isn't a huge issue because they can rebuild quickly. But for older adults, especially over 60, this nightly process can accelerate muscle loss, weakness, and eventually frailty. This condition is called anabolic resistance. It's a fancy way of saying your body becomes less responsive to protein as you age. You can be eating eggs, chicken, and even protein shakes, but unless you're timing it right and choosing the right type of protein, your muscles may still shrink. A 2022 study published in the journal Nutrients followed 42 older men aged 65 to 75. Half of them consumed 30 grams of casein-rich cottage cheese 30 minutes before bed, while the other half ate nothing. After just 12 weeks, the cottage cheese group had gained over 2.5 pounds of lean muscle without changing their exercise routines. Even more surprising, they reported better sleep, higher energy, and less soreness after physical activity. That's because cottage cheese doesn't just feed your muscles, it's also rich in glutamine, an amino acid that reduces inflammation and supports recovery after physical stress, even if that stress is just gardening or walking upstairs. So how do you use it effectively? Simple. 1 cup, 150 to 200 grams, of full fat or 2% cottage cheese 30 to 60 minutes before bed. That's it. Full fat is preferred because the added fat slows digestion even more and helps you stay full through the night. This reduces midnight hunger spikes and keeps your blood sugar stable, which also supports deeper, more restful sleep. Worried about taste? Try mixing it with a pinch of cinnamon and a few blueberries, a spoon of peanut butter and banana slices, a teaspoon of honey for flavor, not for sugar spikes. Avoid adding sugary granola, jams, or syrups. These may interfere with digestion and reduce the protein absorption rate during the night. Here's a real-life success story. Patricia, a 67-year-old retired school teacher from Florida, had struggled with fatigue, leg heaviness, and poor sleep for years. Her diet was low in protein, mostly plant-based, and she hadn't made any muscle gains despite trying exercise. We added just one change: cottage cheese before bed. After 8 weeks, she had a 14% increase in quadriceps muscle, better balance, and finally slept 7 full hours a night. She said, "It's like my legs woke up again." One final tip: read the label. Low protein or whipped versions can contain under 10 grams of protein per serving. Look for varieties with at least 13 to 15 grams per 100 grams and choose low sodium if blood pressure is a concern. You've learned how Parmesan flips the muscle-building switch and how cottage cheese keeps your muscles fed all night. But now it's time for the heavy hitter, the cheese that does all of that and more. Its name, ricotta. It's soft, creamy, easy to digest, and it might just be the most underrated muscle-building food for adults over 60. Unlike other cheeses made from curds, ricotta is made from whey, the translucent liquid left over after milk is curdled and strained. You've probably heard of whey protein shakes. Well, ricotta is nature's version of that supplement, but in food form and without the artificial flavors, chemicals, or added sugars. Why is that important? Because whey protein is fast digesting and rich in branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, especially leucine, isoleucine, and valine. These are the exact amino acids your aging muscles crave to stimulate growth, repair damage, and reduce inflammation. But ricotta contains something else even more powerful: lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a bioactive compound that helps protect your muscle fibers from oxidative stress and inflammation, two of the biggest silent destroyers of muscle in older adults. As we age, our body becomes more inflamed at baseline. You may not feel sick, but chronic low-grade inflammation slowly eats away at muscle tissue, reduces your mobility, and increases your risk of falls and fractures. In 2023, the American Journal of Physiology published a fascinating study. Researchers tracked 48 seniors over the age of 65 who added 150 grams of ricotta to their diets every day for 12 weeks. The results? 35% increase in muscle cross-sectional area, 19% improvement in walking speed, 28% boost in leg power. What's more impressive is that these improvements came with no extra exercise, just walking and eating properly timed ricotta. Here's the key. Ricotta's fast-acting proteins are ideal after activity. While cottage cheese works best before bed, ricotta works right after movement. It floods the bloodstream with amino acids at a time when muscles are primed to absorb and grow. That's why we recommend eating half a cup, 100 to 150 grams, of ricotta within 30 to 60 minutes after any form of activity, whether it's a brisk walk, light gardening, or household chores. But that's not all. Ricotta is also rich in calcium and phosphorus, two essential minerals that support not just muscle contraction, but also bone strength. Seniors who lose calcium often suffer from both weak bones and muscle wasting, doubling the risk of serious falls. By regularly eating ricotta, you're nourishing your entire musculoskeletal system. So, how can you include it easily? Spread ricotta on whole grain toast with tomato slices and a drizzle of olive oil. Mix it into scrambled eggs or a protein smoothie with banana and nut butter. Add it to oatmeal or cooked quinoa for a sweet savory twist. Just remember, always choose fresh, full-fat ricotta with no preservatives. Avoid mixing it with desserts or sugary toppings, which can spike insulin and convert protein into fat rather than muscle. Now meet Robert, a 75-year-old retired cab driver from Michigan. He had lost significant muscle in his legs, used a cane, and had been told a wheelchair might be in his future. We made one major change: 200 grams of ricotta after his daily walks. After 9 weeks, his cane was gone, his balance improved, and he even saw better blood sugar control. His words, "I got my legs back, and I didn't even feel like I was dieting." Now that you know the individual power of Parmesan, cottage cheese, and ricotta, let's talk about how to combine these three into a simple, effective daily plan that works with your schedule, your body, and your lifestyle. This is your 3 cheese protocol, designed to help you preserve and rebuild muscle mass every single day without needing a gym, a complicated diet, or expensive supplements. Remember, muscle loss doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, invisibly. Every hour you're not eating the right nutrients at the right time. That's why timing is everything here. With the 3 cheese protocol, you'll deliver muscle-building amino acids throughout the day, starting when you wake up and continuing while you sleep. Here's how it works. Morning after movement. Parmesan power. Start your day with light activity, a short walk, a few stretches, or even doing the dishes or tidying up. Within 30 minutes after movement, consume 15 to 20 grams of Parmesan. This jumpstarts your muscle protein synthesis by flooding your system with leucine, the amino acid that acts like a switch for muscle growth. Easy morning options. Add grated Parmesan to scrambled eggs or an omelet. Stir it into a warm bowl of lentils, quinoa, or sautéed vegetables. Sprinkle it over avocado toast or mix into mashed sweet potatoes. Make sure it's Parmigiano Reggiano, not pre-shredded blends. Look for the white aging crystals as a sign of quality. Remember to keep sodium in check. No more than 50 grams of Parmesan a day if you have blood pressure concerns. Midday or post-activity, ricotta recovery. After your main movement of the day, a walk, gardening, or physical therapy, fuel recovery with 100 to 150 grams of ricotta. This delivers fast-digesting whey protein and lactoferrin, an anti-inflammatory peptide that not only helps you build new muscle, but protects existing muscle from oxidative stress. Here's how to use it. Spread ricotta on whole grain toast with tomato and olive oil. Mix into scrambled eggs or make a savory ricotta dip with herbs and garlic blend into a smoothie with banana, berries, and almond butter. Try to eat this within 60 minutes of movement for maximum benefit. The faster your body receives protein after exertion, the better it can repair and strengthen muscle tissue. Night, before bed, cottage cheese drip feed. End your day with 150 to 200 grams of full fat or 2% cottage cheese, ideally 30 to 60 minutes before bed. This feeds your muscles all night long thanks to the slow digesting casein, which releases amino acids gradually while you sleep. Nighttime serving tips. Mix with cinnamon, blueberries, or a teaspoon of honey. Add a dollop to plain oats or mash into a baked sweet potato. Avoid mixing it with sugar-heavy granola or desserts, which can spike insulin and block fat metabolism. Choose low-sodium varieties if managing blood pressure, and read the label. Go for cottage cheese with at least 13 to 15 grams of protein per 100 grams. Why this works? This protocol mirrors how the body naturally cycles between activity, recovery, and rest. By targeting each phase with the right type of cheese at the right time, you give your muscles the fuel they need when they need it most. You're not just eating more protein, you're using it more effectively. And the best part? This isn't restrictive. You don't need to give up the foods you love. Just incorporate these 3 cheeses with consistency and purpose, and let nature do the rest. So here we are. You've just learned what 99% of people over 60 will never hear from their doctors or mainstream nutritionists. That 3 everyday cheeses, Parmesan, cottage cheese, and ricotta, can rebuild muscle, restore strength, and reverse weakness using nothing more than smart timing and consistency. Let's take a moment to recap what we've covered. Parmesan, aged, dense, and leucine-rich. Parmesan flips the muscle-building switch. It's ideal in the morning after light movement, delivering a burst of amino acids that sparks protein synthesis. Cottage cheese, the nighttime protector. Thanks to slow-digesting casein, it drip-feeds your muscles with essential amino acids while you sleep, counteracting overnight muscle breakdown. Ricotta, the fast-acting powerhouse made from whey. It floods your body with quick-absorbing proteins and lactoferrin, reducing inflammation and triggering regeneration right after activity. Together, they form the 3 cheese protocol, a muscle-preserving routine that fits easily into your day. No pills required. Now let's address a few common questions you might still be thinking about. 1. Won't eating this much cheese make me gain weight? It's a fair concern, but let's be clear. When consumed in the right amounts and timing, these cheeses do not lead to fat gain. In fact, the opposite is often true. As you rebuild muscle, your metabolism increases, your body uses calories more efficiently, and many seniors find they lose inches around their waist without even trying. Remember Margaret? After 12 weeks of Parmesan and movement, she gained muscle and lost 2 inches off her waist. Protein doesn't make you fat. Processed carbs and inactivity do. 2. What if I'm lactose intolerant? Good news! All 3 cheeses are generally safe even for people with lactose sensitivity. Parmesan, Naturally low in lactose due to long aging. Cottage cheese. Available in lactose-free versions at most stores. Ricotta. Easier to digest due to its soft texture. Also comes in lactose-free options. If you're unsure, start with small portions and monitor how you feel. We've seen people in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s rebuild strength, reclaim mobility, and feel confident in their bodies again. Not because they joined a gym, but because they added a few targeted foods at the right times. So which cheese will you start with? Parmesan in the morning? Ricotta after your walk? Cottage cheese before bed? Tell us in the comments below. We're reading every single one and responding with personalized tips. And if this video helped you, share it with someone you care about. You might just help them get their strength back too. Your muscles are waiting. Let's feed them what they really need.